Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Gold Rush Football Podcast on Gold Rush Football TV. My name is Moses, and I'm here with two heavyweights when it comes to talking football. On my right is my brother and my friend, a back-to-back, four-time back-to-back Premier League champion. But this season, we don't know what hits them. It's like a tsunami. Is it the coach? Is it the player? We don't know what's going on. Mazi, good to have you.
I'm good to be back on Gold Rush Football Podcast. But let me put it out there for people that are viewing from home. Barcelona fan, I support Pep, But yeah, like you rightly said, it's been a crazy season. As a Pep supporter, I still have some emotional attachment to Man City. So I don't want to see him being embarrassed, being disgraced. So it's been a crazy season. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody would expect that an injury to Rodri, one player, would amount to, Man City losing its place, in the top four, And they're not even a top four team. You expect them to be maybe first or second, But it's been a crazy season. We'll get into it. But yeah, Barcelona is doing great. So that's a consolation, right?
Absolutely. I think Pep should go back being married. On my left-hand side is my another heavyweight, my brother, that went from quadruple, it went down to treble, went down to double, and now it's single. Wale, the last 2 weeks, what's going on?
You can as well say that single is not even certain, right? Anyways, that is the mentality of a big team.
Yeah.
When a team is a team is expected to win 4 trophies or all the trophies they are competing for, that is, the right type of mentality that should be in every club, including your Chelsea, and every other team. So it's good to be back here to talk, football with you guys.
Please, let's try not to drag Chelsea into this conversation today because
never in the title race. Chelsea was never in the title race.
You guys wanted to talk yourself into it.
Yeah,
they are not contending for the title.
So let's get it started. Round of 16. I'll start with you, Wale. What went wrong? Because Liverpool was high flying, they topped the group. Everyone thought they were favorites. Although, if you remember in the last podcast, I told you that I felt PSG was going to scale through because there was no Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe factor there. There was no fear factor in this PSG. Right. I saw it in them, and I told you that this guy were going to scale through. But you were optimistic that Liverpool was going to go through. What happened?
Yeah, so for me, I feel like it was first off a very unfortunate fixture for Liverpool. When you play 8 games, you won 7, topped the top of the group, and then you're having to face one of the most informed teams in Europe. It's really an unfair draw. But I still feel like it was the timing wasn't right for the two teams to play. Liverpool at the beginning of the season were in top form, and PSG was nowhere near.
Do you think they were carried away?
No, they weren't. I feel like it to get to a point, at some point in a season, your players will be dragged, like they will be fatigued. Let me put it that way. We all saw that. We were seeing the cracks, right? We saw the cracks even when we played Southampton. We saw that the intensity wasn't there anymore. Like the way Liverpool presses, the way they hold the ball. It's like those guys were getting tired. So what I meant by timing was PSG, when we were playing the group phase, they were not in form. If they met us then, you wouldn't have said what you said, right? So, but it was unfortunate that when they picked up was when we dropped.
I still have to poke you, Wale.
Yeah.
Did you see the massive difference between Enrique and Slots? It looked like one person understand what he was doing, Enrique, and it looked like the other guy was just trying to look for solution, trying to find his way around. There was a big difference between how the two teams set up.
Right. I think Enrique, first off, is a top class coach. Someone who has coached Barcelona. You can't compare him to, even when it comes to ranking of European coaches. I'm not sure you are going to put Slot in the same ranking as Enrique. However, the material you have determines the outcome you are going to produce. We have a good material, but they were fatigued, as I said. So they matched up to Ancelotti, right? Ancelotti is a far bigger coach than even Enrique, isn't it? So, and they beat Ancelotti regardless of whether one player was available or not. You understand? So I feel like Slot, it got to a point that Slot even lost it. Even with the substitutions, with the tactics and everything, he didn't just get it. And Enrique was a better coach. So
Mazi, I want to talk to you about the Atletico Madrid and the Real Madrid game. Talk me through two things. I want you to talk about the away goal rule is no longer there, because I felt when Atletico scored in that second leg, I was saying that if it were the old rule, we might see Atletico go through. That's one. Number two, was that penalty chopped off, the penalty shootout? Do you think VAR were looking for something that they shouldn't be looking for? Because it wasn't that obvious. Nobody knew that what's his name? Alvarez had a double touch on the ball. What do you have to say about the away goal rule?
So let me start with the one that's buzzing, which is the penalty, right?
Yeah.
My problem with it is UEFA, should let people know what technology is available at each stadium, right? I don't like this situation where is for instance Barcelona played Madrid. This is in the league. They told us there was no camera to go into a microscopic view of what happened of the goal, right?
Yes.
To Madrid's benefit, there was no camera.
Exactly.
Now Atletico is playing a penalty that nobody, Alvarez played the penalty, nobody saw the double touch. All of a sudden, all the technologies available for that one. They have sensor,
zooming,
they have 5x, 3D camera, they have everything. It's available. So it looks like every time, and it's not a coincidence, a lot of people have been pointing this out. Every time a decision is going to go Madrid's favor, they would look for a way how that decision will go in their favor. So they either remove a technology and say it's not available, or they add and say, oh, there's something that can. So Madrid is always benefiting from these things. What I understood from the rule is that the referee is in charge, right? If the referee makes a decision and it needs to go to VAR, it has to be something that's clear and obvious. Those two words, clear and obvious. So for you to determine that it is impossible to determine at that point that anything was clear or obvious.
Do you think the away goal rule is having any positive or negative effect to the excitement of the Champions League right now?
I think I'm okay with doing away with the away goal rule. The reason is because teams go away and decide to defend. It takes away from the excitement of okay, let's play at home. At home is where we want to play. Away, we just go and waste time, kick the ball. So go to any stadium and plan to win. Do whatever you have to do to get a result, right? And if you're it's like the away goal rule is not crediting defending, it's only crediting attacking. So I think go to any stadium, win your match, do what you have to do in the second leg to win. If you have to score, if you have to defend. But I'm okay with that. But what I wasn't okay with is the Julian Alvarez penalty getting chopped off. It was unnecessary. That penalty should have stood or at least be retaken.
All right, awesome. Let's go into the fixtures. I'll start with you, Wale. We have Real Madrid versus Arsenal. We have PSG versus Aston Villa. We have Barcelona versus Dortmund. We have Inter Milan versus Bayern. What do you think is going to happen? Who are the 4 teams that will scale through to the semi-final? I'll go with you first.
I mean, I would say it's hard to call for some of those fixtures, but if PSG played the way they played us
against Liverpool,
I see them in the final. I don't know. I don't want to say they are going to, they are not going to mess it up. Trust me. And just as you rightly said, I would agree with what you said, that they don't have star players, like they have star players, they don't have the names that
have the big name that will put pressure and expectations, standards, and
nobody's expecting anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So they are playing free flowing football. Arsenal, Real Madrid is going to be a tricky fixture because if you look at Madrid, yes, they've been getting it just as some of the results favored us, even when we didn't play well.
So who's going to go through?
Arsenal, Madrid is going to be a tough one, but I still feel Madrid has the edge over Arsenal a little bit.
Dortmund, Barcelona.
Barcelona for sure.
And then lastly, Inter Bayern.
Inter Milan.
Mazi.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go.
So the game, PSG game, PSG Aston Villa, right?
Yeah. PSG Aston Villa, yes.
Yes, PSG Aston Villa. I feel like PSG, they're a good side. You know, they found their form. You know, there's a game that you play that you win and it changes your season. That was the City game. They were losing at first half.
Exactly.
They rallied around. And, you know, it boosted the confidence of the team. If you can, you know, even if City is having a poor form, that kind of game. So, but I don't think they've played a team like Aston Villa with Unai Emery as a coach. A team that you know will sit deep, hit you on the counter. It's different from a Liverpool that will, you know, you will find your space because Liverpool will look at you like, oh, we can beat you. So if there's anything that's going to surprise PSG, is Aston Villa. So they should not. I don't think they are the finished article yet.
Okay.
So I would give Unai Emery a chance in that game.
Arsenal,
Madrid because you know Madrid always find a way. If they can't find a way legally, they will find a way illegally. So and Arsenal missing some of their key players, even with the excitement of Saka being back, I still don't believe that he's going to be in good form. You know, good form to face Madrid. He hasn't played a game in how many months? Calafiori just had an injury. So Madrid.
Okay. Barcelona, Dortmund.
Barcelona, Dortmund. It will be Barcelona because of Barcelona's form, obviously. Although, you know, there are some new injuries that just crept into the Barcelona camp, but I believe Barcelona can go scale through against Dortmund.
Okay, let's take a short break. We'll be right back. It's still the Gold Rush Football Podcast. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Gold Rush Football Podcast on Gold Rush Football TV. I still remain your humble host, Moses. Still on the Champions League futures. Mazi, Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan. For me, I think this is the most tricky of all the fixtures because Inter Milan has only conceded just 2 goals in the group stages and they play a very good flowing attacking football. Bayern Munich on the other side have bunch of experienced players even though their coach is inexperienced. What do you think about this fixture?
If you ask me, you know, like the big teams, they come alive when it matters most. The business end of the season, right? So
are you saying Bayern is bigger than Inter Milan?
Obviously,
you better be careful.
In Europe, Bayern is a bigger team than Inter Milan. The pedigree,
okay.
They always arrive at these latter stages, you know.
Okay.
Inter Milan, no disrespect to Inter Milan, they are a big team, but you know, given pedigree, given history, given expectation. I think, you know, you enter that Bayern, if you're a Bayern Munich player, you enter that dressing room, you know, feeling like it's an entitlement that you have to be at the latter stage. So, with the kind of players they have, with Harry Kane, you know, aiming to win his, you know, first major title. He hasn't won any major titles. You know, he's hungry. I know
But they have an inexperienced Vincent Kompany. I don't think he's good enough to see them through to the semi-final.
I think the players are experienced enough that can compensate for Vincent Kompany's inexperience. I mean, I know the likes of Olise, there are some players that are just getting into that stage for the first time themselves, but you know, they have a crop of young players, Musiala and the rest of them that have, you know, they've been in this competition, they want to win it. I think they're hungry. It's the latter stage. So I will give it to, you know, Inter have done well, no disrespect, but I'll still give it to Bayern Munich.
Wale, what do you think?
Well, for me, I would say Inter Milan because both teams are, you know, big teams in Europe. They both have the pedigree, even though maybe one has won the Champions League more than the other. I want to see Inter as a more like compact team, a team that has one of the most informed strikers also, just as Bayern too has. They have a really good defense too. They have players like Bastoni and, you know, the likes. I feel Inter is not a team that concedes goals, just as Bayern, you know, does.
Yeah.
And I want to believe that when two big teams like this meet, you know, how much of a clean sheet
would you pick having an experienced player and inexperienced coach, or you prefer having an experienced coach and an average player like we have with Inter and Bayern Munich? Because if you look at the coach of Bayern Munich, Vincent Kompany, as far as I'm concerned, is inexperienced. This is his first campaign in the Champions League. But on the other side, you have Inter Milan coach who is much more experienced and have some quality players as well. Which would you prefer?
I think I'll go for an experienced coach and like a blend of average experience.
So that means Inter Milan.
Inter Milan for me. Yeah.
Mazi, Bayern Munich versus Barcelona.
Dortmund.
Versus Dortmund. What do you think about this fixture?
I mean, I know pundits all over the world will give that match to Barcelona. Yeah. If Barcelona doesn't win that game, then it would be like an epic fail. Because Dortmund, they've been struggling. Again, business end of the season, they look to have improved their form. Their team is doing well. The Girassi striker, is on the radar of top
clubs
in Europe. Very good player.
He's in form.
So, but we have a crop of young players in Barcelona right now that, to my surprise, honestly, like they've taken this season by the scruff of their neck. They've gone to big stadiums like the Bernabeu. They've gone to Atletico Stadium, Metropolitano. Came out with a result. So when you look at their form, look at the hunger, Rafinha, goal contribution this season on the list for Ballon d'Or. I know Rafinha definitely is going to be in the pecking. He's going to be maybe 5th, 4th, first, wherever he's going to land. So Pedri, form of his life. Surprisingly, he hasn't had an injury this season. They say when Pedri is in form, when he's fit without injuries, he's one of the best players in the world. So I would expect Barca to continue that form and go past Dortmund.
And Wale, which of these fixtures do you think we might see surprises? Because for me, I'll tell you, PSG, Aston Villa. Even if I have so much respect for Unai Emery being a 3 times Europa League winner with Sevilla, I have so much respect for him beating big teams like Liverpool on those 3 occasions.
That's Europa.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mentioned Europa, and I'm saying that for me, no matter what Unai Emery does, I think PSG will scale through because they have the experience and everything. But aside the PSG, Aston Villa, which other teams do you think will have a surprise that will spring up? Like the case of Liverpool, PSG, most persons would have thought Liverpool will walk through PSG. So which feature do you think we
it's the Arsenal Madrid game?
You think Arsenal is gonna?
I tell you, I would say Madrid will go through.
you must be a miracle worker.
I'm being see. So Arsenal has nothing else to play for. Whether you like it or not, the EPL is not gone mathematically, but it's almost it's like they're chasing shadows.
Would you put your money on this Arsenal team?
I wouldn't, but you're asking about surprises, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's a banker. I'm saying it's more.
What gives you the impression that this Arsenal team can spring up a surprise in the fixture against Real Madrid?
So thank you.
Real Madrid.
So let's forget. See, at some stage, Arsenal have played Madrid before. We know what happened at the end. They knocked out Madrid several times. What are we talking about? Thierry Henry's goal.
But they don't have any striker right now.
I mean, they might not.
Jesus Havertz, they are in the.
So they've not been playing with like a front man, a centre forward, a goal scorer.
And you think Merino will be able to do this thing against a Rudiger, a rugged Rudiger?
So the problem now is, let's look at Arsenal from the back. From the back, they are better than Madrid.
But you don't score goals from the back.
So, but you know that defense win you certain things, titles, right? Arsenal has an equally good midfield.
But they've had this defense for over 2-3 seasons, and yet even drinking cup, they've not gone home with it.
I mean, it's unfortunate. 21 years EPL, and I understand that. But if you look at the Madrid side, are they really a balanced side? Like, can you say that they have it? They have everything from, or is it that the forward that they have is actually doing all the work
to cover up? If you ask me, the only team I can put my money on if you say bring out your $1,000 to put your bet, is Madrid, because somehow Madrid have a way of winning the Champions League. But right now, this season, PSG is my favorite. I want PSG to win it. But let me go to Mazi.
I think that
what are the surprises?
I think the Arsenal, if you want to go tactically, right? Like if you want to break down that game, Madrid versus Arsenal. Arsenal has a chance, and the reason why I give them a chance is because
Arteta against Ancelotti.
I'll tell you why.
I think that's disrespectful.
I think if you look at the games that Arsenal have lost, right? The games Arsenal have lost they've lost to more teams that sit deep. So Arsenal, Arteta, I'll tell you categorically, does not know how to break down low blocks. But if you afford Arsenal a chance, like if you afford them the chance to play,
where is the goal going to come from? Do you think Emery? You think this is Champions League? This is not Premier League. This is not FA Cup.
I'm just giving you why I will give them a chance. I'm not saying they will win. I said I'll give them a chance because when they play against teams that want free-flowing football, they can find the space, right? They can play out from the back and do their thing. If it's a low-block team like a Newcastle that will come and sit deep, Aston Villa that will sit deep, and all the people that they've lost to this season have been teams that just are comfortable with them having the ball.
Yeah.
If Atletico played Madrid, Atletico played Arsenal, I'll tell you Arsenal is out.
But you both are not still telling me where is the goals going to come from. Because
I think the goals can come from set piece. What are you talking about? Gabriel has about 8 goals, or 5 or 6.
So you think you want to score set piece goals against a Rudiger, Alaba, and Mendy top players? These are good. These are good defenders.
The problem Arsenal is going to have, I'm giving them a chance, but the problem they are going to have is the players like Skelly, players like Waneri, those players, they would go into that Madrid game with a lot of fear and a lot of tension. You are going to the Bernabeu, right? I listened to an interview that Mikel Merino was saying that the Arsenal players were asking him about Madrid and how the stadium atmosphere is. That is inexperience. You want players that have been there, that know what it is to play there, not the ones that are asking questions in the dressing room. So that is where I would, say Arsenal might go there and capitulate, because it's not. I think
for me, Mazi, even if you have Jesus and Kai Havertz, Saka, everything complete, home and away, Madrid will buzz this Arsenal
for you to start the chance against Madrid, you are going to get chances. Bury your chances.
But there's no
Madrid. You will get. Madrid is not. They are not spectacular. It's just that people don't convert their chances when they play them. Courtois is going to be Arsenal versus Courtois. Can you beat Courtois? Because they will have chances.
Okay, but I'm owing you $100 if Arsenal wins.
No, but you asked for the surprises. So that's where I also feel that.
The other surprise is that I see coming. That if you say, can there be a surprise? It's PSG Aston Villa. Because I will never write Unai Emery away. He's another person that is a tactical genius.
Mazi.
This question last season, it was Bayern Aston Villa. And it was almost a walkover. The way Bayern were playing. I was sitting here and I said the same thing, that I would not write him off. And he knocked out Bayern Munich, right? We can all remember. So Unai Emery, don't go into that game based on what you've seen, because PSG has not played. Show me a team that PSG has played that set up tactically for frustrating PSG. They played Man City. Man City will always give you space. This Man City is even useless. They've played Liverpool. Liverpool will play you with the expectation that they will beat you. So everybody.
One thing I'm going to promise you, Mazi, is that 2 red cards to this PSG team, they will still beat Aston Villa home and away. I'm telling you, take it to the bank.
Well,
if you're talking about PSG this season, you should talk about a team that goes to a war, not minding if they will get killed or they will come back alive, and that's the PSG team. And I'm telling you.
But have they met a team that can soak up that pressure?
So you mean City and Liverpool didn't know how to soak up pressure?
No, that's what I'm saying. City and Liverpool played the way Aston Villa are comfortable. City and Liverpool, they high press, high line.
Okay.
Aston Villa want that. They want to hit you on the counter. Take the ball, do whatever you want to do. And PSG seem to be that kind of team. Remember, even that Liverpool game, the moment they remove Salah from that first leg, the game changed. Elliott, why? Because the whole shape of that team changed.
Yeah.
And PSG, That's why Liverpool scored that few minutes. So have PSG played a team that can set up in different ways, that have a coach that can adjust the shape of the team? I'm yet to see that. I'm not writing them off. I'm not saying Aston Villa is definitely going to win them, but I'm saying if you're looking for surprises, don't write Emery off.
Wale, a quick one. The way Liverpool exited, do you think it tells us the story of the standard of the Premier League? Because I kind of took a different stand this season,
Right.
believing that truly the way teams perform in Champions League or in Europe generally tells the quality of the league. What do you think? Do you think Liverpool has disgraced us in England this season?
That's a big question. So the standard of the EPL has not been lowered because Liverpool exited, right? Even as we speak, English teams, there will be 5 English teams representing, right, in Europe next season, based on the statistics right now. So the first question I would ask myself, or ask us, or our viewers, is: are Liverpool really the Manchester City prompt good, like that Guardiola team of 2017?
But they are the number 1 team in England.
No, hold on. Are they really the jogging club prompt good, like that team? I would say no.
So we will not be looking at the coaches. We are looking at the position they are.
Yeah, we are talking about Liverpool.
So it doesn't matter who the coach is. It's about your position. See, if you're number 1 in England, there is this standard that is being expected, that is supposed to reflect in Europe.
It does.
Liverpool never showed that.
It does. So if Liverpool had lost to Club Brugge or Genk, you can ask this question and I'll say yes. They lost to a champion of another top European league, PSG.
So are you saying the French league is better than the
that does not that has no implication on the standard of this? Is 2 big teams that has everything going, good management, money to buy good players. I mean,
but I tell you what, this PSG team will beat, because if PSG scale through Aston Villa, they are meeting the winner of Madrid Arsenal, and I'm telling you that I can put my money on this PSG team to beat either Real Madrid.
If Liverpool had
so does that mean that
football is not
Ligue 1
it's not mathematics?
So football is not 1 plus 1.
It's not
is
mathematics,
2, right?
Yeah.
Football is, every coach has a chance. Look at the Newcastle Liverpool game.
Okay.
Right? It's not maths like that. You have to set up your team to win. Now, PSG, like I said, they've played Liverpool. They got their tactics right. If they play another team, will they get their tactics right? Because it's a different ball game. You know, you can't add 1 plus 1. So the only thing I'm going to say about the quality of the English league, the only thing I'm going to say is that I think it has even improved from the lower end. Like when you're looking at teams like Bournemouth, you look at teams like Brighton. You know, some of these teams
so
are
Mazi, I'm not talking about the competitiveness of this league. We know EPL is competitive, because look at Nottingham Forest might end up in third at the end of the season. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the quality of the league against other league. For example, United is disgracing themselves in Europa. Liverpool,
United is doing pretty well, right?
They are not performing.
Like they are
struggling to scale.
If you want to say that, you have to look at how many English teams do we have at the knockout stage. Not weighing teams against each other, like Liverpool playing PSG.
Okay.
But how many English contingents do we have currently?
How many are favorites? United.
You don't have to be. You don't have to look at the favoritism now.
Okay.
Look at how many of them are still competing. Okay. Chelsea in the Conference League, Manchester United, whether they are playing well or not, they are still there. Aston Villa is there. Liverpool just got knocked out. So that is 4 out of how many? So 4 teams out of, let's say, top 6 or top 8 that should have gone.
So you're saying that it's
a fair return.
We should not base the quality of each league based on the performance of these teams.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. I would say that the quality of the EPL has dropped when it comes to officiating, but when it comes to performance outside of their domain, like in England, They are doing pretty well.
So finally, Mazi, let me ask you, if you had to pick the two teams that will be playing in this year's UEFA Champions League final, which team would you be picking?
I mean, it's looking like an El Clasico, Barcelona, Madrid. The way everything is set up, if those two teams play to their potential, and if Madrid continue their illegal or legal means of winning games, it looks like a Clasico final. UEFA is going to make a lot of money from the Clasico final, so they might actually be pushing
for it.
This Barcelona is in one branch, Madrid is in the other branch, and the teams they have
with these unknown names in Barcelona, you think they can get to the final?
I mean,
aside from Lewandowski,
what do you mean by unknown names?
First of all,
I told you about Lamine Yamal, and he's so good.
The performance I think Barcelona will either play after they play their game with Dortmund, they will either play a Bayern or an Inter.
Yeah.
And those are winnable games. Let's be honest. So that's why I said it's looking like Barcelona have beat Bayern, though it was in the group stage, but they beat Bayern like 4-0, almost like they were playing Atletico Minera or somebody in the lower team. So if they continue their form, pending no red cards, no controversy, pending no injuries, no crazy injuries during the international break, we might tell
two teams that we're looking at in the final.
Oh, for real, it's looking more like they are building an El Clasico. However, we may not end up seeing that. I think in the next 2 months we'll come back to this place and say, oh, we said it. I'm seeing it like UEFA might want to make a lot of money from the Madrid-Barcelona game, but I see PSG going far, and I see Inter Milan too, or either Inter or Bayern, I don't know, whichever one goes through. I see an upset, I mean,
I think
Bayern sent a message to the rest of Europe with that result against Leverkusen. Nobody was expecting the routing. First one I think was 5-0 or 6-0 or something like that, and then another 2-0 clean sheets with such a margin. That's a signal to the rest of Europe that we are here, we are serious. So yeah, Bayern is not a pushover, but I'm looking at an El Clasico.
Okay, thanks you guys for your analysis. It's still the Gold Rush podcast. We'll be right back to take the fan section where we throw in the questions that have been asked from you all out there watching the show. We'll be right back. Oh, welcome back, fans. It's still your Gold Rush Football podcast on Gold Rush Football TV. I'm still your host here, Moses. This section is for the fans. We'll be taking questions from you all, and then we try to answer them, and we appreciate you sending in your questions. The first question is for Wale. Wale, has not lack of rotation cost Liverpool the league against PSG? His lack of rotation, has it cost him scaling through against Liverpool in the PSG in the Champions League?
I think the answer is a capital yes, because we saw the impact of those guys that refused to bring in at the right time, on some of the games. Away at PSG, Elliott scoring. Against Newcastle, Elliott coming and supplying a beautiful assist. I don't know. I think there's a contract with Chiesa. Maybe if we play him too much, we have to pay Juve some amount of money. Maybe that's why he's not playing him, because he's fit, but the guy is not starting. So I feel that cost us.
Oh, he rotated against Plymouth Argyle, and yet he exited the FA Cup.
That's not rotation. That's a complete over. Like you change the complete 11. You understand? You can even if a Premier League does that, you sign 13 players or 11 players and you put them as your first 11, you relegate. QPR did it now. You remember that season?
Yeah, that means if I to go by what happened in the FA Cup, that means it would have been worse if he had brought in a different teams that we've been seeing in the Premier League. It would have probably been worse than what we saw.
No, I don't think so. I feel everybody already knew what to expect from Liverpool. At least in the last 3 games, it was Jota, Diaz, Salah.
Okay.
Against PSG, he didn't walk away. He used the same team against PSG at home. It didn't work.
Yeah.
He used it against a Premier League team too. It didn't work. And then you bring it into the cup final. It's not like we didn't have players at all. this is not our worst season when it comes to injury, right?
Okay.
Tweak it a little bit. Put a player that they don't even know about. Put a Chiesa, who even has a record of scoring at the Wembley. He has played like 2 times there. He scored 3 goals. 1 against 2 against England or so, when Italy played England, and against Newcastle. So I feel, slots cost us those trophies.
Okay. Mazi, what do you think?
As in, yeah, definitely. You look at positions like Gravenberch's position.
Yeah.
You have an Endo on the bench, and you're not playing Endo. At least the Southampton game is an example. That's a game that you can play. You can trust somebody on the bench to play that game. Southampton, the bottom of the table, you should be able to trust one of your players. So Gravenberch looks very exhausted. He looks very tired. He can't chase. He can't run towards the end of these games, and it's not his fault. He's physically tasking to play every 90 minutes. Now you look at positions like Salah's position too. I feel like even rotation and tactical adjustments too. Sometimes give them something different. I think Salah can go to another wing.
One of the things we've praised Slot for this season is that he makes his substitution on time, and it's worked out for them. Even in the Champions League against PSG, he was making those, especially in the first leg, it was a little bit effective. But in the second leg, he kept making those substitutions and nothing changed.
Well, I would say when the season started, Slot was on point, right? But something just happened towards the January, February, where even an ardent watcher was saying that Liverpool was not playing well.
Yeah.
Like that. Even a Liverpool fan will tell you, like, they were a little worried about, but the results were coming. Some of them would tell you that, well, it's normal in a season, you would dip in form, but we saw it coming, kind of, where the team was struggling, maybe intensity, maybe pace or something, which I felt like that was a good opportunity for the coach to now start trying something new in the training ground.
Would you say that taking out McAllister, someone who played a penalty kick at the World Cup level, and Soboslai, who plays almost all the set piece for Hungary, out for people who have no experience in the dying stage of a Champions League round of 16, would you say that's a good substitution? No. So he lost it at the tail end of the season. That's what I feel. So for me, I have a question, guys. Moses, one of our fans said, hi Moses, do you think Chelsea are on the right path under Maresca? Finally.
So change is one thing that is constant in life. We are in an era whereby we don't get freebies anymore. If it is the era of Abramovich, by now Maresca will probably be fired, or we know at the end of the season he's leaving. So right now, I still believe we are on the right track, because if you check where we were, the position we were in the Premier League last season compared to now, I would say we're on the right track. Do I like Maresca's formation and tactics? I do. But I think we don't have the right player. For example, we don't have a striker. Jackson is not the type of striker you expect to win the Premier League with. We don't have experienced defender. Orwell is fumbling. The only experienced and quality defender I can say we have is probably 3, and they've not been consistent. Cucurella, Reece James, and Fofana. Immediately Fofana got injured, our season started going down the low. So I think Chelsea is on the right track. If we sign the right player, then I can now look onto Maresca and say, oh, you're not good enough. But right now, I can't write off Maresca until we sign an experienced striker. Look at our goalkeeper. Sanchez is always doing giveaway. It is only clubs like Arsenal Sanchez should be keeping for, not for Chelsea. And Jorgensen came in, we were thinking he will put in a better performance. It was also a flop. So he hasn't gotten the quality players yet. When he gets it, then we can really say, okay, if he's on the right track right now, but let him get new players, and then we can really see.
But can we draw the line? Can we draw the line between players underperforming and quality players? So I think management needs to take responsibility when players underperform. These are quality players, right? But they are not performing
to the
the
standard.
standard. So that's where Maresca and his team come in. You can't say you spent 1 billion plus scouting, recruiting, and
7 goalkeepers without having
7,
8.
Wow.
So I think
that's serious.
I think Maresca needs to take some blame for not bringing the best out of these players that you're mentioning, because we know that they are quality players. You might be surprised. It might sound odd, but another coach may blend that team in a different way, and you start seeing other qualities that you did not see, Maresca bring out. But again, I have a question though. One of the fans asked a question. He said, "Which of these is the biggest El Clasico?" He said, "Is it Argentina versus Brazil? I mean rivalry, basically. Is it Real Madrid Barcelona? Is it Manchester United and Liverpool?"
I will go for Brazil Argentina, because it's the oldest rivalry that you can think of in football, because these are teams that have even if they don't have that well-known star, it is always war any day, anytime. Real Madrid Barcelona, you can always tell from the quality of their players and say, is this going to be a tough rivalry this season or not? You can't compare the El Clasico of this season compared to the season where you have Eto'o, Messi in Barcelona, you have the Figos in Real Madrid. Those were what El Clasico used to be. But right now, I think I will go with Argentina Brazil.
For me, I would say Barcelona Madrid is like the biggest rivalry, like in maybe not in world football, but maybe in club football, because if you notice, have you ever seen players cross from maybe one or two,
Figo,
Ronaldo or something, and when it happened, you know what those players. So for me, I would say Madrid Barcelona.
I would say Madrid Barcelona also.
Okay.
Because it's political. It's almost like a faction of the country believe that they are
a section of the
country believe that they are minorities or they are being marginalized, and the only way they can show further anger is via their soccer club, which is Barcelona, the Catalans, and then the real Spanish people. So that rivalry doesn't just signify football alone, it also signifies political.
I have a very, very, very interesting question here.
Okay.
Start, bench, drop, sell. Start, bench, drop, sell. Rodri, Kante, Busquets,
sell.
Patrice Vieira. Whichever fans that sent in this question, you will live long. You will live long. I'll start with Mazi. Start, bench, drop, sell. Rodri, Kante, Busquets, Patrick Vieira. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful choosing.
The options again, please. Rodri,
Kante, Busquets, Patrick Vieira. Start, bench, drop, sell, and give me reason. Don't just tell me. Quickly, so I will go to the next question.
Okay, so I'll have to absorb this a little bit. Okay, so I will choose based on the soccer I like to play. If I was a manager, the kind of football
players
I want to play, that would be my consideration. Also, what they achieved would be a consideration for me, because let me put it out there, these are all quality players. You are basically picking from greatness, right? So I will start Busquets. And the reason I will start Busquets
ahead of Rodri,
I will start Busquets
ahead of Marcante, Mazi, please.
Hell yeah.
Be careful.
Now let me give you my reasons.
Okay.
Busquets is the way I want to play. I want to play a possession based, almost like a student of Pep, right? Busquets, you can't press him.
Ahead of Patrice Vieira.
Yes, Busquets.
A warrior.
Busquets.
A World Cup winner.
Busquets. Wait, hold on.
The last time Arsenal had a anything trophy pride is when Vieira was there.
As you're taking Vieira, tick all those for Busquets. Busquets is a World Cup winner. He's a treble winner, Champions League. He's a three. He has won multiple leagues, so he ticks.
Arsenal fans come for him.
Do you know that Busquets, as a Spain international, they are the only team that have won 3 international competitions back to back. They won the Euros, they won the World Cup, and they won another Euros. And Busquets,
3 trophies at the same time,
being dominant. So
bench.
I will respect everybody's opinion, right? Because these are great players, but I will Busquets is a silent killer.
Bench, go to bench.
Okay, so bench.
Who sent this question?
Bench. I will bench Kante. And the reason why I will bench Kante.
Mazi.
No.
You don't want me and you to have problem, right?
Kante is a fantastic player, but he's not a ball playing. He's not a ball playing midfielder, right? Kante he will press you, he will win the ball back.
Mazi, a machine.
He's a machine.
A machine that doesn't stop running.
But in the kind of formation I want to play, right?
Okay.
I want calm.
Drop. At least he didn't drop him, so at least.
I'll drop Rodri.
Wow.
I'll drop Rodri because Rodri is
best current defensive midfielder in the world right now. A Ballon d'Or.
The reason why I would drop Rodri is because he's still actively playing. We don't know the level he's going to achieve. Like, he hasn't won the World Cup. He hasn't amassed.
Sell.
It has to be Patrick Vieira.
Wow.
And I will sell Patrick Vieira because I mean, go elsewhere. Just as Juventus sold him, go elsewhere. Go and be a great player. Yeah.
Wale, quickly start, bench, drop, sell. Rodri, Kante, Busquets, Patrick Vieira. Quickly, so I can.
I've been looking at the list, but this is I don't know whoever sent this question. Man, you are wicked.
It's tough one.
For me, and the type of football I love to watch, I think Vieira was a warrior during his days, right? But Busquets was a special breed of player. Like, you cannot press him. If you like, 11 players should go after him, you won't get that ball. You understand? So for me, I would say Busquets. I will start Busquets.
Bench?
I will bench Vieira. Reason why I'm benching Vieira is everything Kante can give me.
Arsenal fans, you guys are here.
No, I'm serious. I would have said Vieira, but Busquets even won trophies. So it's not about just being able to being a press assistant alone. He won trophies. He's a part of that team that won everything. So Vieira can give me whatever Kante can do.
Okay, drop.
Even he can score goals.
Drop.
I think I will drop Rodri. I'm sorry.
You drop Rodri?
Yes.
And then sell who?
I'll say Kante.
Sell Kante?
Yes.
Well, so for me, I think because of the type of football that I like people who run and plays non-stop. If I want a player that's week in, week out, I'm sure of the energy level. He doesn't complain. He does anything I want. Go and play me striker. Go and play me 5. Go and play me 10. Go and play me 7. He's there. For that reason, I'll go for Kante. I'll start Kante.
You're a true Chelsea fan.
Yeah. I will bench Busquets because he's not physical the way I want my defensive midfielder to be. He's too fragile. He's an Ajebo. He's an Ajebo.
But your Makalele was like that too. Your Makalele wasn't
He's stronger than Busquets.
But it's not. He doesn't have the frame of Vieira.
I will bench Busquets because of his too Ajebo for my liking. I'm going to drop Rodri because he's still playing right now until the end of his career. Then I can have a final verdict. Then I'm going to sell Vieira. That doesn't mean I don't love Vieira. Is a fantastic player, but Arsenal fan, it's not like I love you guys, but I have to sell Vieira.
Anyway, guys, I have a question here, and one of the fans said he's trying to talk about the controversial topic in the EPL or in England as a whole. The question is, who is the best right back between Trent, Walker, and James Reese in their prime? Like in their prime. Who is the best?
It's a very very easy question. I will go with Reece James, not because I'm a Chelsea fan, but because if you need a right back that can play, that is good defensively, that can play a 4, a 6 defensive midfielder, just as Moresca is using him currently. If you need a 2 that can play 7, that can go up front with crosses and free kick. We saw, even when he came back from injury last season, he scored one
beautiful
free kick against Aston Villa.
Right.
If you talk about an all-round 2, a complete 2, give it to Reece James. I like Walker, but Walker has his lapses when it comes to going up front. He's a good defender,
right?
But when it comes to going up front, Reece James will give me more. But Trent is not even a defender. He shouldn't be in that conversation. Trent is more of, if you want to play a 3-5-2 formation,
like a right midfielder,
a wing back type of formation.
Right.
You see Trent, Doku dribbled Trent about 15 or 12 times. Go check the highlights. Despite the fact that Liverpool beat City, it shows that Trent is the least of it. So I'll go for Reece James. He's the most
Reece James in the order.
In the order, Reece James number 1, Kyle Walker second, and then Trent last.
Yeah, I'll go for, so mine is Reece James. I'm thinking about it from a perspective of, I'm a manager and I have these 3 players in the market, right? I would definitely be going for Walker as my starter. Walker will give you, a full season worth of games. Very strong, very fit, very fast, defensively unplayable. We've seen him with the likes of Vinicius Junior. It was 50-50. Sometimes he even came up on top. Sometimes Vini came up on top. Walker's weak point is he loses concentration. Maybe because City have so much of the ball that he's just wandering around and not
tracking back.
He forgets that there's a player behind me, or then you see him, or sometimes he over believes in his space that he's somewhere and he feels like I can always, and then he makes a mistake. You just have to be on him to, as a coach.
Aside injury, so are you saying you pick Reece James ahead of Walker? Aside injury, because that's all.
Aside injuries, Reece James is more complete. I'll put it like that. Reece James is more complete. Reece James can hold the ball, play as a midfielder, do different things. He's more complete, but he's not faster than. There's some. As much as he's more complete, there's some things that Walker still does better than him, like being overlapping, tracking back, the speed, the strength. So based on injuries, I'll give it to Walker. I'll bench Reece James. Like I already explained, Reece James is a complete player. And then I'll sell Trent. Trent is defensively, everybody complains about Trent. Defensively, like his ball possession, his passing is one of the best. Like he can locate anybody with a long pass and all of that. But defensively, he leaves a lot of work for Van Dijk and Konate or the guys in the middle.
In fact, he has cost Konate a lot this season. He has exposed Konate a lot on the right hand side. You're asking the next question, Mazi.
Yeah, but for me, before that, I would say Reece James looks more like, if you need a full back, he looks, if the
full package,
he has almost everything.
Injury has
not been fair, to him. Walker loses concentration a lot. Maybe he feels like I have the pace I can or something like that. Trent, for me, is good, but it's not even, for me as a coach. I would not, if I have a Bradley, I would not use. Absolutely. I would not use.
I don't know why Slot is not even starting Bradley ahead of him.
He has been injured too for some time this season.
Mazi can go.
So should Mikel Arteta? This is coming from a fan also. Very good question. I said, should Mikel Arteta leave Arsenal now before he becomes a villain, right? Amongst Arsenal fans, should Eddie Howe replace him? So should at this point, is he becoming a villain? Should he leave now, or and Eddie Howe, having won a trophy at least, replace?
As a Chelsea fan, if I was the owner of Arsenal, or let's assume Arsenal is Chelsea with what they've been experiencing in the last 5-6 years with Arteta, I would definitely go for Eddie Howe, because the best of Arteta is last 2 seasons and last season. That's the best that I think he has got it. That's his glass ceiling. That was why he couldn't repeat the same feat this season. And then Arteta's players identification is zero. You need a striker and possibly winger to not now that we know that Waneri is good enough to come in and debutize for Saka. You need a right
we
wing.
knew that because Saka Odegaard got injured. That's the only reason why Waneri even got his time, because of Odegaard's initial injury.
Yeah, and besides, Arteta can't even leave. Which club? Would you think is there any club that is ready to snap him up? What's the record? Why are you signing him? What's the reason why you want to go for Arteta? So I think Eddie Howe is a best thing for them to go for.
For me, I mean, I respect your opinion. For me, I think Arsenal are on the right track.
With Arteta?
Yes.
Would you like to have Arteta as Liverpool coach?
He has
Sincerely.
Would
you like, if they say at the end of the season, go take Arteta, would you like to?
We can. Why not?
Would you like it?
We can. No,
I know, not you can. I mean,
we as Liverpool.
Do you like him?
I like him. You can't. We can't all like deny the fact that he has elevated. He has elevated Arsenal from what they used to be. Arsenal. You know what Arsenal used to be, right?
They've never been anything.
No, there was a time they were not even contending. It was top 4. So for me, I feel it's the problem Arsenal has is not entirely Arteta. They have a sport director who buys players. If I tell you, oh, you are my sport director, I need Isak, and you don't do anything about it, what power do I have? We don't even know what is going on, with Arsenal, the board, the team, we don't know. So do you think he doesn't want to have a striker? You think he doesn't you think he doesn't have a name that he has given to them that get me this player?
I guess Sesko was the choice, but
so I'm like
in between.
Yeah. Arteta has done well if you look at the big picture. Look at where they were before, look at what they are doing, what they've done, and where they are right now, right? So many Arsenal fans will tell you that Arteta is the Moses. Arteta is the Moses to their campaign, right? He will lead them to the promised land, but he won't see the promised land. Something like Brendan Rodgers, right? But when I look at Arteta, he has made a lot of big mistakes. Also, one of his big mistakes was like signing Calafiori. What was the need for Calafiori when you needed a striker? So obviously he looked at his team and he said Kai Havertz
good to go for the season.
Right? So that was a big mistake. That money you invested in Calafiori, you could have used to buy a striker. In fact, the money you invested in Kai Havertz, you could have spent it more wisely, because Kai Havertz is not also a striker. So it leads me to think that he entered the season wanting to play that false 9 type of football. Right?
But sorry, for me, how much is Calafiori? And what striker can you get for the price of Calafiori?
But
we'll leave that to the fans to answer. Let me ask this last quick question.
Okay.
We're almost rounding up.
Okay.
Do you think, from a fan as well, do you think Foden and Rashford should be starting for England given their Premier League performances this season? I think, for me, I don't think those two guys should be in the squad, let alone starting, because they've been abysmal this season. I don't see any reason why both of them should be starting for England. I respect Thomas Tuchel. He seems to be a coach that knows what he's doing. But starting Foden and Rashford, what do you think, Mazi?
Well, if you're looking at purely merits, they should not start. Both of them. If you're going on merits. But let's look at Thomas Tuchel as a new coach, right? That wants to see everybody. Like he wants to give everybody a chance. He knows players that dropped form. This is a form issue. This is not who they are. Let me see if I can see them for myself. See them in a big game. Take my decision.
Do you think he's going by name? Because I think that's one of the problems we have with England.
I don't think so.
Tuchel
is one of the first people that actually invited a player like Dan Burn at 32. So I think Tuchel is actually considering current form a lot. A lot. I saw so many names, even Skelly.
Yes.
On
MLS.
that, MLS. I saw so many names on that team.
It was based on form.
It was based on form. But I know there are some people, darling of the country, darling of a, that it's like Osimhen dropping form, and you say just because you're a new coach, you don't want to invite him. You have to. So I purely on consistency performance, no. But based on the fact that he's a new coach, he wants to see everybody. I understand
why he picks them. Wale, what do you think?
Yeah, I also support that because I heard when Tuchel, I listened to his interview and he said when he took up the job, he asked people about Jordan Henderson. Should Henderson even be in the squad? And people said he has the right attitude, he's a born leader and all that. So he's bringing everybody now based on what he has heard, what people the advice, and based on what they have done in the past. So now it's now left for you to show what you can do. You understand? He complained bitterly about Foden and Rashford, and he said they didn't do anything. So maybe next time they won't be called up.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Wale. Thank you, Mazi. It's been a show. Thank you, fans, for being there to the end. The fact that you watched this episode down to this point means you love what we've been discussing. So please like, subscribe, tell your friends to tell your friend. I know some of you have more than 5 girlfriends. If all your girlfriend like and subscribe to this channel, it will go a long way. Catch you guys on the next episode. Peace out.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.